know what she said, she might just change your life.
Last year, about a year and a half ago, 19 months ago, I came down with necrotizing fasciitis, which is flesh-eating disease.
So, what did you notice first?
That I wasn't feeling well. I thought I had
Was there
the flu.
a cut or was there something?
It might have been. I have to tell you that I was so foggy during that time because I was so sick and my body was so toxic that I was not even noticing anything.
So that did you start to get headaches? Did you start
no,
to...
I thought I had the flu. I thought I had the flu.
Ah.
Yeah, and so I was weak. I wasn't eating.
Did you have a fever?
Probably. I don't know. I didn't take my temperature. Diarrhea. I wanted to throw up, but I wasn't throwing up. All I was doing was sleeping, and I wasn't eating. And then by about the fifth day, my arm started swelling up.
Oh.
And I remembered not really being fazed by it because I was so weak. I was just so out of it. So, then my ex-husband said, we're going to emergency. I'm going to take you into emergency. And thank goodness he did, because if he didn't, within those crucial few hours, I would have been a goner, because the infection was so far gone. It was so rapidly spreading that it would have just taken over my whole body. My whole system would have gone septic. Yeah.
So were you alert? Did you realize when they said we need to remove parts of your body to save your life?
Yeah, they told me, they said, this is what you have necrotizing fasciitis. And up to that point I thought, oh, okay, well, they can just give me antibiotics and my arm will be better. But then going into the operating room, they said, my surgeon looked into my eyes and said, you will lose your arm and you might die. And so that's what I knew.
Happy days.
Going in. Yeah, that's what I knew going in. All I remember is being on that gurney and staring at the ceiling and just praying, but knowing that I was completely helpless and at the mercy of the 3 surgeons who were working on me. And I was sedated for 11 days after that, and the first few days were really touch and go. Because my body was so toxic, they didn't know if I would live or not, but I did.
Maureen, when you talked to the doctors, did they tell you that the way your symptoms manifested was a pretty normal way, or was it unusual? Because
I think it was normal, because I've heard of other cases. I didn't really talk to my doctors about it after, but I've heard about other cases where people don't know they have it.
they think they have the flu, because you do understand that if I get flu symptoms, I'm going into Emerge to be tested.
Great, just what we need. Our hospital's been
Yeah.
clogged up.
Yes.
So
yes.
they didn't just so what happened when you woke up? Take us through that process when you started to come out of the sedation.
I didn't know how sick I had been. That's the first thing. I found out bit by bit as the weeks went on in intensive care. I was there for 5 weeks. I found out bit by bit how sick I was. And of course, when somebody wakes up after 11 days, you don't tell them everything all at once. So my family sort of eased me into it. And I'm like, why are all these people sending me cards and letters and flowers? And I didn't realize how sick I had been. And when I woke up and I looked at my hospital gown and I could see the sleeve of my gown. So I thought, oh, and then I felt down my gown, and then I thought, oh, I have a stump, and I have my breast. Okay, so that's good, but I didn't. I told the nurse this. I said, oh my gosh, I came out of this so well because I still have, my shoulder and my stump, and my breast, and she said, no, you don't. I was hallucinating left, right, and center because they had me on, of course, all these painkillers and everything. So I don't exactly know what I was seeing or feeling or what I thought I saw or thought or felt on my body. But she told me, no, it's all gone.
So they took your arm off at the shoulder?
They took my shoulder.
It took your shoulder as well.
My shoulder's
And your
gone.
left breast. And your left breast.
And all the I don't have any flesh on from my midline all the way tracing my ribs around, front and back. I have no flesh, no bones that attach to your arm and your shoulder. I just have my ribs. And 2 weeks after I woke up, they had to take flesh or skin from both my thighs and graft it on to my ribs. Lovely. Yeah.
So, but you know what? You're beautiful and you're alive and you're moving on with your life.
I know. You have to. I have to.
But what was that like for you to I mean, was there a moment where you thought I can't, I'm giving up?
Never. I don't give up. I'm not that person. I know that I knew that about myself before, and I know it even more so now. And I had such wonderful support of family and friends, and I am tenacious to the end. I don't give up. I will not. And it's funny because when I was in the hospital trying to recover, you don't think about, oh, boo-hoo, look what I lost. You think about, how am I going to get out of here? That's all I thought about. How am I going to get well? How am I going to walk? How am I going to walk further today than I did yesterday? That's all I think about.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.